Hi guys, this is Robert, and today I'm just going to be showing you the upcoming Move Data Editor that will be dropping with the next update to Tribute 25. So when you open Tribute and you see the main menu, you'll see there's a new Move Editor button. So we'll just hit that and you'll see the new Move Data Editor window. So if you hit load moves, this will load up a full list of all the moves in the game. So a lot of these, like TBD and ones with no names, you can just pretty much ignore those. There's also a button called load hidden, and this will actually load a filtered version of that list where it just shows you the moves that are hidden or locked or uncategorized. So this is moves like locked DLC moves, moves that are left over from past games. That's like a vast majority of them. Not all these will be useful or work, but there's quite a lot that do work. So it's definitely worth just experimenting and just trying out what you want. So I'll go over some of the new features. So on the right, you'll see data copy. So copies the data from one move to another. Useful if you want to change the categories a move appears in and other data. So here you'll see source index ID and target index ID. So the reason why it says index ID and not move ID is because for some moves there are actually more than one entry with the same ID. This is probably like for moves that kind of have multiple animations associated with them. So basically that's why we've used the index ID instead. So we're making sure we are dealing with the exact entry that you want to deal with. So the first feature is copy categories. So this is a simple feature where you copy the categories that a move appears in the game into another move. So for example, say I had like the diving elbow drop or something. That's usually it's usually in the category of like diving to grounded opponent. But say I wanted that to be like diving to standing opponent or middle rope to standing opponent. I could find a move that has those categories, and then I could copy those categories into the target move, and then my diving elbow drop will be able to add it to that category in the game when you're editing your moveset. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. So if I'll go on to load moves again to get the full list, and I'll go on to diving elbow drop 1. So one thing we are going to release with the next update to Tribute, is I've created a move categories file. So this is basically a list of all the categories in the game, as well as all the vanilla moves that can be assigned to those categories by default. So this is a JSON file, but Tribute doesn't actually read it. It's just for your reference. So you can just open it in any kind of text editor, but I do like Visual Studio Code because you can actually breaks down the sections for you. So if I click here, I can just navigate to the category I want to look at. So it's quite convenient. So I'm just going to check. I'm going to search in this for my diving elbow drop. Just want to make sure I've got the right one. So yeah, this is definitely a diving top rope, diving grounded attack. So that's definitely what I'm looking for. So that's my target move. So I'll put the index in there, 7108. So now I need to find a move that is diving to standing opponent so I can take its categories. So I'll go back to my document and I'll find the diving top rope, diving standing attack. So I'll just pick a move from here. So I'll get the diving top rope, diving standing attack. I'll just get this diving crossbody one. And it's move ID 45006. Let me just type that in. So diving crossbody 1. So the index ID for that is 11218. 11218. And now if I just hit copy categories, that will actually copy all the categories from the source to the target. So now once I bake, I'll be able to select in game the diving elbow drop as a standing move. And as you can see, now we can select the diving elbow drop in the top rope diving to standing opponent category. And that's working good. So next to the categories, the copy categories button, you'll see the clear button and the all button. So clear just resets all the categories on your target index. So this will completely clear all the categories off it. So that can be useful if you've added quite a few just when you're testing stuff. You might want to clear it again at some point. But just bear in mind that that will clear all the categories, so it won't actually show up in game anymore. So after you clear, you might want to just add the categories back to it from one type of move. And the all button will actually add all the categories to a move. This might be useful if you want to test out certain hidden moves, like you might not quite know what category it belongs to, so you might just want to add all the categories to it so you can kind of test it in game on the edit moveset. Then after you find what category it should be, you can just clear that later and add it to wherever you want. Copy pin data. So this, as it says, will copy the data required for a move to be a pin. This doesn't actually work on every move, sadly. So the move that you're applying it to has to have the animation data for it. So there's only like a select few moves in the game that the developers have actually they've created the animation data for it, but for whatever reason they've not enabled it in the game. So it's not as useful as you might think. One of them you might have seen on the demo we put out was the springboard 450 splash, so that is one of them that you can add it to. But I've not kind of experimented with this at great length, so you guys might be able to find more moves that it does work with. So that's definitely something just to experiment with. Copy commentary. This is basically just the commentary associated with that particular move. Like when you hit the Stone Cold Stunner, for example, the commentators will be shouting "Stone Cold Stunner." So stuff like that. So you might want to change that for particular moves. Reach anim. So this data it's basically how the move starts. So like with the Stunner, Stone Cold does like a low kick, or some moves they might start with like a punch, or this might be the type of grab that the Superstars does to initiate the move. Like with the attitude adjustment, John Cena actually he raises both his hands quite wide to grab the opponent in a quite distinctive way. So you might want to just experiment with that. Then you've got the update move data section. So in this section you can just enter an index ID you want to manipulate, and you can rename the moves. So this is just quite simple. You just type it in, you can, new move, whatever you want to call it, and then that will appear in game in the moveset editor and in match when you're previewing your finishes and stuff like that. Obviously you've got the unlock flag to unlock those hidden moves, and you've got the signature and finisher. It's quite self-explanatory. It just adds it to those categories, and then you just hit update. So if I wanted to rename the diving crossbody, I just enter the index ID and I'll just rename it to whatever I want, add it as a finisher, hit update. And then you've also got some JSON options. So if you're an advanced user and you want to experiment more with the moveset data, you can export it all as a JSON document. And when you've done your edits and saved it, you can just hit import again. And this will export it to the moveset folder in Tribute. And the file needs to be there, and it needs to be named the same way when you want to import it. And that's pretty much it. That covers the new features. So yeah, this is just something you can really play around with and experiment and see what you can get working.